For the 74th time, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour rolls into Hampshire Motor Speedway. Tonight, it's the Whelen Manufactured in America 100, and it's right here on Flow Racing. Good evening, everybody. I'm Joe Koss alongside Pete Falcone for tonight's action here at the Magic Mile. And Pete Falcone, this is the race that everybody in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour garage circles on their calendar at the start of the season. This is the crown jewel that everybody wants to win at the end of the day.
And it's the race that everybody sitting in these seats here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway today has been waiting for, as we've waited throughout the day to finally see the running of the Whelen Manufactured in America 100. Always producing historic moments, and I'm sure tonight will be no different.
This is one of those racetracks where it's a mile in length. You've got to be up on the wheel all day long. You're out of the throttle for just a little bit, hard on the brakes, getting into the turns, mat it to the floor on the exit, and the draft is in full effect here. As if we were racing on a super speedway like Daytona or Talladega, they'll be passing for the lead multiple times a lap. The action is insane. The intensity is an all-time high, and you've got to take just as much as you give out at a racetrack like this with these modifieds here tonight.
And things could change at any moment. The way these cars run so close and how the drafting comes into play and making those bold moves into the turns to try and make the pass and slide up in front of the guy in front of you. It always is so unpredictable, and we've seen the face of this race change with less than a lap to go, and I'm sure today will be no different.
Last year's winner was Ryan Preece. Heading off turn number 2, he was third. By the time he came back around, he was the one hoisting the trophy at the end of the day. Anything can happen over the course of 100 laps in the Whelen Modified Tour. And here in the Northeast, the tradition runs strong, and this racetrack is the foundation of all of that. The field has begun to roll off the pit lane. A very strong field, 25 cars in all, ready to do battle here. We've got a lot of the regulars in the field tonight, but we've also got some newcomers that we'll tell you about as the race progresses. But what a beautiful sight it is here. A wonderful Saturday evening here at the Magic Mile, and we are ready to go racing with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's race. On the pole position, Justin Bonsignore, three-time champion, gets his first career pole here, our first pole at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. John McKennedy will start on the outside of the front row in the Middlesex Interior, 79.
In that third starting spot, somebody we don't usually see up at the front here at New Hampshire, but had a great run in qualifying yesterday. Kyle Bonsignore from Bayshore, New York, the number 22, the Chateau Performance MIT-sponsored number 22, alongside Doug Colby, again, behind the Tommy Baldwin, 7 New York, with the Mayhew Tools entry. Colby looking to make it a good run today.
Starting 5th, Anthony Nocella, part-time runner. Eric Goodale, third man in points. He'll start 6th today in that number 58.
7th, Ronnie Silk, the current point leader in the number 16, alongside Corey LaJoy, making his first start in a while here in the Modified in the number 17.
The rookie driver, Austin Beers from Northampton, Pennsylvania, starts 9th tonight alongside Tyler Ripkema, who will start from Owego, New York in the 10th spot.
11th starting spot goes to Patrick Emmerling, the 2019 All-Star Shootout winner here at New Hampshire, alongside Ryan Preece in the number 40, the winner of this race last year at New Hampshire, and that was his only win here at the Magic Mile.
Starting 13th is Tommy Catalano. He's having a banner year in the number 54. He'll line up alongside Kyle Ebersol from Hummelstown, Pennsylvania.
15th starting spot goes to Donnie Leah in the old blue number 3. Leah, the first start at New Hampshire since 2017. He's a two-time winner here. And Bobby Santos in the Tineo number 44 from Franklin, Mass. Though he's a part-time driver in the Modifieds this year, he is a 6-time winner at New Hampshire.
Dave Zapienza, he's a driver looking for that first career victory. He'll start 17th today out of Riverhead, New York. Also out of Long Island, the 82 car, Craig Lutz from Miller Place, New York, starts 18th.
19th starting spot, Ken Heggie in the 18, the Bowie One Seafood and Restaurant entry, alongside Gary McDonald from Ronkonkoma, New York, the Lakeline Landscape Supply car, number 26.
Melissa Fifield will start in the 21st position alongside J.B. Fortin in 22nd. Eddie McCarty will start 23rd. 24th for Andy Seiss tonight, and rounding out our 25-car field is Walt Sutcliffe Jr. As the field works their way down the front straightaway, we'll take a look at the two cars that we're keeping an eye on here today. These two drivers, Ronnie Silk in the 16, current championship point leader, has won here at New Hampshire before. He'll line up along somebody who's very familiar to him. That's the 17, Corey LaJoie, making his first Whelen Modified Tour start since the 2015 season. It's not his first time in modified action, but the Cup Series star had wanted for years to be able to race here in Loudon, and he's got the opportunity tonight, bringing a brand new owner, Michelle Davini, to the Whelen Modified Tour. He'll start 8th here tonight.
Yes, and you talk about some of these drivers in the field like Donnie Lee, a lot of experience, is a winner here before at New Hampshire. And of course, the 6-time winner, Bobby Santos, the sensation from Franklin, Massachusetts in the Tineo, number 44. He's looking to get back to victory lane for a 7th time tonight.
And Bobby Santos will start deep in the field. He'll start back in the 16th position, so a pair of champions starting back there, although it's not the deepest somebody has started here at Loudon to get the victory. The mighty Mike Stefanik won a race back in 1998 from the 40th position. As the field rolls down through here, the start-finish line and across the granite stripe, we'll have the opportunity to see the 1-to-go signal, which means we'll go racing next time by. A quick look at the race analysis for tonight's event. 100 laps. We'll have the opportunity for a round of pit stops here under the green flag. There's no halfway break. It's a mile track here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. The banking progressive from 2 to 7 degrees in the turn, 2 on the bottom, 7 up top. And these cars run a modified restrictor plate. It's a tapered spacer, and that's how they get that draft working the way they need to here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. But the field now doubled up along the back straightaway, 25 cars strong, about set to get underway here at the Magic Mile.
Well, and you see that Justin Bonsignor has chosen the outside to start this race with John McKennedy alongside. Bonsignor, of course, the fastest in qualifying yesterday, gets to choose the lane, and he thinks that the outside is what's going to work here at the beginning, and we're going to find out just moments from now.
Representative from Whelen Engineering, Autumn Taylor, on the flag stand, ready to give the initial green as we get ready to go racing here at the Magic Mile. Through the restart zone, and the green flag is out. Justin Bonsignor in the outside lane pokes that 3-time championship winning number 51 to the outside lane, but here comes McKennedy to challenge early.
And McKennedy will try on the inside, and Doug Kobe trying to stay on the back bumper of Bonsignor, but Bonsignor puts some breathing room between the two, and Kobe's able to slip around the outside of the 79 to go to second.
Doug Kobe in that 7 New York was slated to run his own modified, the number 10, but Mayhew Tools came on board. He jumped back behind the wheel of the 7 New York. He runs second. How about Corey LaJoie in the early going? The white number 17. He's in 5th right now, and he's challenging Eric Goodale.
Yeah, he's hooked right up with Eric Goodale and works his way through at that first and second turn. Down on the low side goes Bonsignor, Kyle Bonsignor in that number 22. He's losing some spots as they rocket by him on the outside.
There's Ryan Priest in the 40, the Hunt Brothers Pizza Machine, trying to make hay. Tyler Ripkema, who is a part-time runner on the tour in the 32, but has had a great season so far. He's finished in the top 5 3 times in only 4 races. He's been a contender all season long. Here's Kobe looking for the lead.
Yeah, battle down into turn 1. Kobe tucks it down to the low side and makes the pass on Bonsignor into turn number 1. He'll be the leader on the backstretch.
So Doug Kobe to the point. 2 laps in, already swapping the lead. The top 3. It's Kobe in the 7 New York, the 51 of Bonsignor, and right behind the 79, that's John McKennedy.
Things start to settle down. They get the feel of the racetrack now and rocket their way across the granite stripe. It's Kobe as Bonsignor takes a look to the inside, but will follow him into turn 1.
Corey LaJoie not holding anything back as he darts to the inside, picks up the 4th spot underneath Eric Goodale.
LaJoie has gotten around Goodale and now tries to chase down those top 3. It's Kobe along with Bonsignor and John McKennedy, which have opened up a comfortable lead.
Get a good look at that 17 machine. His grandfather, Don LaJoie, raced that number 17 at the Danbury Race Arena when he was a child. And that 17 means a lot to Corey LaJoie. It's why that number is on the side of the race car today.
Yes, and with brand new ownership, too, as they're making their first start in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Michelle Davini bringing that car to the racetrack for LaJoie. As we got a move by Ryan Priest down on the inside of Ripkema. That is the battle just behind Eric Goodale in the 58.
Priest can't quite make it work. He settles in line. right ahead of the number 92 of Anthony Nocella, who is a part-time runner on the Tour this year, but has had very strong runs at this racetrack, and he's off to a pretty strong start right now in the 8th position, riding through the first segment of this race.
Yeah, he has turned his modified career around. He's having a great year this year in some of the open competition modified races, and Nocella is certainly one to watch here this afternoon.
Up front, Kobe is able to hold Justin Bonsignor at bay, a 4-car length advantage for the 6-time champion Kobe in the 7 New York, with Bonsignor riding in second. Here's Goodale trying to sneak back underneath the 17 of Corey LaJoie, and Tyler Ripkema, he'll pull to the inside of LaJoie as well off turn 2.
Yeah, that is a great race right there. LaJoie up on the outside, Ripkema staying right with him too, all trying to get around the outside of Eric Goodale, racing into turn 3. Goodale with the advantage down on the bottom as LaJoie washes up just a little bit going into turn 3.
And you see that chrome horn being used by the 17 of LaJoie. That's something that you'll see here in the bump draft on the straightaway. Directly behind them, Ryan Preece trying to pick up some spots. Didn't qualify as well as he had hoped. And now he's moving in, looking for the 6th position if he can get by the 32 of Tyler Ripkema.
Here's a look by Preece again. Down on the inside. Dives it down into turn 3, trying to make that pass. Boy, they are all tight. They bump wheels 2, 3 times through that 3rd and 4th turn, bouncing off of each other. But Ripkema comes out on top of that and beats Preece to the stripe.
This great racing action. This is 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. The 22 is Kyle Bonsignor. The 92, Anthony Nocella on the outside lane. Is Preece a little bit of a wiggle that time through turn 2 as they hit the back straightaway.
Ripkema holds on to the spot, but Preece will take another run at him this time, diving it down low and trying to make that pass. Here is the look at the last time around when he tried to make that pass, as Ripkema got hung up a little bit behind Corey LaJoie, and then Preece and Ripkema bounced off of each other through the 3rd and 4th turn.
That Preece lost the nose on the bottom, and here is Tyler Ripkema, that number 32, off the pace into the bottom. Wonder if there's any damage after that contact. There was a pretty good hit when Ryan Preece came across the racetrack into that left front tire of Tyler Ripkema. And what was a strong run inside the top 10. Ripkema now off the pace, brings that car along the apron to the bottom of turns 3 and 4, and he is headed to pit road.
Yeah, he'll be on pit road in an unfortunate situation for him, as he was right in the thick of it early going here in the Whelen Manufactured in America 100.
Keeping an eye on the 44 of Bobby Santos. We highlighted him in the open. He started back in the 16th position of the outside lane. They had a shock problem on that number 44 in qualifying yesterday. That's why they didn't have the lap put in the way they had hoped. Santos is known for being able to run from the back to the front, but he right now is sitting in the 10th spot. He's made pretty good ground here in just 11 laps.
And he is one to keep the equipment safe and one not to use it up too early in the race. You'll wonder about Bobby Santos mired back either just inside or just outside the top 10, and when it really counts, he gets on it and is able to close a lot of ground, particularly in the late stages of the race. That's how he's won 6 of them here at New Hampshire in the past. We watch Eric Goodale and John McKennedy going at it.
Eric Goodale has really had a love-hate relationship with this racetrack. He has struggled to have solid finishes. 25 starts here, only 1 top 5, up and down. And he is in the middle of a championship point battle right now, 3rd in the championship. And this is a big race for that team. If they can overcome the challenges and inconsistencies that they have had here over the past several years in 25 starts, that points them in the right direction to continue being a championship contender as the season rolls into the second half.
Yeah, that's a great battle right there. Goodale and John McKennedy racing across the stripe. McKennedy stays within striking distance, and right behind them, Corey LaJoie. But Goodale on a tear trying to get away from McKennedy.
It's hard to conserve equipment and tires on a race like this. They do have a changed set of tires, but John McKennedy in this part of the country is one of the best at conserving equipment. He ran a lot of modified series where you weren't allowed to change tires, didn't have that option. Very experienced champion there, an experienced champion in super modified competition, big block race cars where you've got a lot more motor than you've got tires, so you've got to really feather the throttle and make sure that you maintain your equipment. McKennedy quietly having a good season, running in the 4th spot. Hasn't been all that flashy this year, but when he's needed to be there, he's had good, consistent finishes, and that has kept him in the hunt.
Of course, these three are chasing our leaders. Doug Kobe with a comfortable lead over Justin Bonsignor. They have pulled away from the rest of the field and continue to open it up for sure. But the best battle on the racetrack right now is that one right there. Third, fourth, and fifth between the 58, the 76, and the 17.
You can see the 17 of Corey LaJoie starting to explore different lanes, entering a little bit higher that time in turn one. Trying to see if there's any grip up in that part of the racetrack. Modifieds will run a little bit higher as they drift the cars up and diamond them in the corner. So they enter low, drift up in the middle, and then just mat the gas wide open on corner exit. Up front, Doug Kobe firmly in command. He's got a half a second lead over Justin Bonsignor and 3-second advantage back to the third place car here, the 58 of Goodale.
And that battle just continues. McKennedy's 79 all over the back bumper of Eric Goodale, looking for an opportunity, but of course the moment he dips down to try and make that pass, Corey LaJoie is going to occupy the space he's in right now. Well, there he is, looking to make a move down into turn three, looking to make that swift pass and slide back up in front of Goodale, and he gets it done.
If that was the last lap, that'd be the move that you want to make if you're John McKennedy. Smooth as silk getting down into turn three. Look at these three, nose to tail, bump drafting, getting down the end of the front straightaway.
Yeah, and the best they could do is to get together like that with that three-car draft to try and reel in those leaders that have really run away from it.
Pretty good gap behind Corey LaJoie. Back to the sixth place car of Ryan Preece, who's backpedaled just a little bit. McKennedy, a car length ahead of Goodale in the 58.
Yeah, at one point LaJoie was right up on the back bumper of Goodale. Now Goodale's got a length between them. And right behind that is a good battle with Anthony Nocella in the 92, Preece in the 40, and Kyle Bonsignor all running together.
Kyle Bonsignor making just his second start in that 22 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Former winner at the Stafford Speedway in the fall final. He said, last year I spent most of my time just figuring out how to race in the draft here, and he felt confident that with that experience he would be a lot better in today's race. He's in 8th right now in the 22. Driver who lives out in Illinois and commutes back to the East Coast to compete in the Whelen Modified Tour.
And he's looking at the back bumper of Ryan Preece, number 40. Those guys are chasing Anthony Nocella right at the moment. And right behind them is the 07 of Patrick Emmerling, just inside the top 10, and Bobby Santos running in the 10th spot.
There's Goodale in the 58, sneaking on by. Meanwhile, trouble off turn number 4. Caution flag is out. One car spinning, and it's Bobby Santos. The 44 of Bobby Santos, who had charged up inside the top 10, brings out the first caution flag of the day. It's lap 20. From New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the caution is out. There's a look at the replay as Santos went around in turn 4. Got that car rolling once again. Didn't hit anything, so he'll be able to continue on. So we saw Bobby Santos drive from the back to the front once. He's in 18th right now. We'll have an opportunity to see it again.
Yeah, and he just been passed by Patrick Emmerling to fall from 9th to 10th, and that happened pretty quick, so I don't know if that was a particular problem for Santos. We'll have to find out when and if he hits pit road. Pits are closed at the moment. Melissa Fifield coming off of pit road.
So circulating under the first caution, lap 20 was when the caution came out as the field circulates around the racetrack. Now there's been a lot of discussion about the 7 New York car. They are in the middle of trying to earn the Owners' Championship and have the opportunity to get this win. Doug Kobe was planning to run with his modified, the number 10 car, and he was planning to run it in this race with the 7 New York. This time, for the first time all season, in a car that has swapped rides, they put Doug Kobe's race seat in this modified today. But if you look on the roof of that race car where the driver's name normally goes, owner Tommy Baldwin, a little superstitious, continuing to leave that name blank. No name on the roof, no Doug Kobe, no Jimmy Blewett, no Michael Christopher Jr., but Doug Kobe in a ride that he wasn't expected to be in. Back in the 7 New York, already 2 wins this season. This team leading the Owners' Championship points, and they've done it with 3 different drivers, and they've got 4 victories to account for.
You got to give a nod to that Tommy Baldwin crew as the way they're able to set that car up and make it right for the various drivers that are in there, because they're all winning when they get in that car as they all come to pit road.
Pretty early round of pit stops for everybody here on this event. 22 laps complete. Usually you'll see the modifieds come in a little bit later, but here's the deal. You can't take tires and fuel in the same pit stop, so this will be the fuel stop. Doug Coby is near the end of pit road in that 7 New York. He'll take fuel, the race leader right in front of him. The Phoenix Communications 51 for Justin Bonsignore. Coby stalls his car trying to get out of pit road, and that will force him to lose the race lead. The car still not rolling on pit road. He's going to lose about 3 spots. Meanwhile, Kyle Bonsignore has the gas can attached to the left rear of his number 22, and he stops on pit road. He will try to back up. He frees it, but it gets caught in the left rear Nerf bar, and now it's dragging back off of pit road.
Boy, what a tough break, too, as he was right in the thick of it before the caution came out. Thought that maybe by backing up he could unhook the can, but it got hooked on the left rear of the bumper, and he'll drag that thing around the speedway at this point. What a disappointment for Kyle Bonsignore in the 22.
That is just unlucky for Kyle Bonsignore. Had a good solid run inside the top 10, and now you can see where that Sunoco fuel can tied inside the Nerf bar along the back straightaway. That's what those bars are called. It protects the Hoosier racing tires. 15 inches of rubber on every corner, and there's a lot there. Here's a look at it. You see it attached to the fuel filler neck, and when he backed up, it dug into the asphalt on pit road, and just, you couldn't do that again if you tried, and it fell right inside the Nerf bar. So Kyle Bonsignore has brought his car back down pit road. A penalty will ensue, and he'll have to get that gas can off with assistance of his crew.
Well, and he's pretty lucky that he's dragging that thing and it's spilling fuel, but not throwing sparks. Otherwise, we'd have quite a show out there as he's able to pull back into its pit stop.
So while we work the caution here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, we are 23 laps into the Whelen Manufactured in America 100. Back here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, working the first caution of the afternoon. It was for a spin in turn 4 as Bobby Santos went around by himself. Many of the cars came down pit road. It changed the running order. On pit road, Doug Coby, the race leader, lost a handful of spots when his car stalled at the exit of pit lane, and that'll give the race lead to Eric Goodale in the number 58, and he'll line up alongside the number 92 of Anthony Nocella on the front row as we get ready to go back under the green flag.
Yeah, it's Emmerling or rather Goodale and Nocella in the front row, then Donnie Leah and John McKennedy in row number 2.
So the pace car rolling through turns 3 and 4. The preferred lane for the race leader on the outside. That's where the modifieds can carry a lot of momentum getting down into turn number 1. We'll see the quarter mark here, 25 laps complete when they get the green flag, and outside lane fires first as John McKennedy pushing the 58 of Eric Goodale down the front straightaway as they haul off into turn 1.
Yeah, both looking to try and get around Anthony Nocella, but Nocella hangs tough. Down on the bottom of the racetrack, he's able to clear Goodale and get up in front of him to lead him down the backstretch.
We haven't talked a lot about Donnie Leah, and that number 3 is working the inside lane, but the outside lane freight train is a little bit quicker. Doug Coby is able to get by in the 7 New York. Here's Ryan Priest to challenge, trying to move into the top 5.
Yeah, good recovery for Coby, who was mired on pit road there for a couple of stalls. Also, right there in the thick of things is Bobby Santos in the 44 after bringing out that caution flag a few minutes ago.
Plenty of different strategies here playing out. So it's Eric Goodale leading the way. Anthony Nocella, John McKennedy in the 79. Prior race leader is Doug Coby in the 7 New York. Here's McKennedy stepping on a line, looking to the inside of turn 3.
Yeah, McKennedy thinks he'll give it a shot down here low, try to take 2 at the same time, but can he even get around one of them? As in Anthony Nocella can't make the move. He'll tuck it back up behind him. Now he's going to contend with Doug Coby in the 7.
Nocella now darts to the bottom, sweeps out in front and takes over the top spot from Goodale. So Anthony Nocella, 27 laps in, he's leading in New Hampshire, but we've got trouble. Your point leader is involved, the 16 of Ronnie Silk. This is turn 2. Now fire from the exhaust coming out. The 64 of Austin Beers involved, along with Dave Zapienza. 4 cars in all involved. Kyle Ebersol, the 5, is the other car. They're trying to get those machines refired. That's the flame you see coming from the left side of the Silk car. But they can't quite get it going again. But for your championship point leader, early on, the second caution of the night, and Ronnie Silk involved at the Magic Mile.
Yeah, even if they're able to get that refired, I don't know how many of them can drive away. Although, now it happens, Eric Beers is away in the number 64, so they weren't actually hooked together, just in a precarious position there. Now, Silk getting that 16 refired and trying to back away from it, and Sapienza had already backed away a little bit from the mishap. Kyle Ebersol also stopped up there in the number 5. So safety crews check on the drivers before they move the cars, and it looks like the drivers that remain there are going to have to go on the hook as they are helping the drivers unstrap and get the window nets down, taking the wheels off, the steering wheels off, and come on out of those cars.
Dave Sapienza has had a really challenging 2022 season. Came off a very strong year, a banner year that they had last year. 7th in this race back in 2021, but is still looking for his first top 10 here this season, and he is not going to get it today. Meanwhile, Ronnie Silk and this team, Hyde Unknown Racing, a new team to Modified Tour Racing. They've been running together in open shows over the past couple of years. In the point lead, very optimistic about their chances today. Ronnie Silk knew he was going to have a good race car, but today he gets caught up on an incident here 27 laps in, the second caution of the day, and this is one of those races where things happen quickly and Silk involved in it. There's Kyle Ebersol getting out of his number 5. Ebersol out of the Pennsylvania area. Let's see what happened. It was Austin Beers in the 64 that went around first. He was right in front of Ronnie Silk. Silk had nowhere to go, and then everybody else piled in as it swept up the racetrack. Sapienza and Ebersol also collected after the fact. As a rookie driver who's very, very talented, Austin Beers has gained a lot of respect among Whelen Modified Tour competitors, but this was his first race here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Looked like he got it in a little bit too hot getting into turn number 1, and the car just snapped around on him.
Yeah, we had a wheel come off. That has been collected, and they continue to clean up over there between the first and second turn. We remain under caution as a couple of cars get down on pit road, including Corey LaJoy.
Another look at it. You saw LaJoy up in the outside lane. Beers might have been trying to stay off the 17 as he dove down into the turn, and it just snapped around. Looks like all the tires were up. You can see Silk swept up into it, and right behind them was Ebersol and Dave Sapienza. They were door to door with nowhere to go and piling in after the fact. So a really tough break for those 4 drivers to get involved in this incident. Meanwhile, on pit road, Tyler Ripkema still working on that number 32 after the problems they had. Craig Lutz is on pit road, making an adjustment to the rear. And here is the 17 of Corey LaJoy. And they are making an adjustment to the chassis on the left front of that car. Rob Fuller is involved with this operation. He was one of the individuals that helped put this together for Corey LaJoy when Michelle Davini came into the office and said, I want to build a Whelen Modified Tour race car, and I want to go cup racing. And he said, well, how about I get a cup driver to race your Whelen Modified Tour race car? He called up Corey LaJoy, and Corey LaJoy had the opportunity to do this. So we're working the second caution here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 30 laps in the books, and Eric Goodale is out front. Welcome back to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We are now 33 laps into the Whelen Manufactured in America 100 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, the 9th stop as we roll into the second half of the season here in the month of July. Eric Goodale's the race leader, but the 17 of Corey LaJoy under this caution has been on and off pit road multiple times to work on the left front. Let's take a look at what happened as he got into turn number 1. He caught the left front tire on the right rear Nerf bar of Patrick Emmerling's machine at the entrance of the corner, knocked the toe out on that 17. They've been on and off pit road at least 4 times to make the adjustments and get that car so the wheel and the tires are all pointed in the same direction.
And I think you'll find that because he was slowing up due to that damage, that's what stacked the guys up behind him. Eric Beers, Ron Silk, Dave Sapienza, and that's how that incident happened up there between the first and second turn, is that they were all coming in to get into the back of LaJoie, and as they all checked up because of that down in the first and second turn, it just went crazy, as you can see right here. As Beers tried to go to the inside of LaJoie, that didn't work, and the big collection of cars, including a wheel flying off up there in the first and second turn.
Dave Sapienza, Kyle Ebersol also involved. That's the reason for our most recent caution. The second caution of the day, the first one came for a spin by the 44 of Bobby Santos. Santos has since rallied from that spin up to now the 7th position. Back on pit road, Corey LaJoie, looks like they're making an adjustment to the spoiler off the rear of that race car, just tightening things and making sure that that's all taken care of. He ran over some tape out on the racetrack, so they'll try to get that cleared off. And then they'll send Corey LaJoie back out into the racetrack. And, you know, some of you might say, as he tries to knock that tape off by using the brake pedal to clear that off, you know, Corey LaJoie on and off pit road multiple times. If you go to short tracks around the Northeast or around the country, really common for cars to come in, especially in modified racing where you can access so much of the suspension components to come in and make adjustments. Now, he came in because he had damage, but you go back to the days of Ted Christopher. He lived on coming in, pitting early if his car wasn't right, and then getting the magic just right and charging up through the field, and it was always entertaining to watch. So LaJoie has had a fast race car all afternoon long. He was fast here yesterday, qualified well. We'll see if that 17 can roll up through the field. He'll be about mid-pack when we get back under the green flag.
Yeah, they made enough adjustments to it, that's for sure. So hopefully they're going to have it to his liking. He won't know for sure once we get back to full speed, but he is moving that car around on the racetrack, get the tires warmed up, and just make sure all those adjustments are going to stick.
Continuing to work the caution here in the Whelen Manufactured in America 100, Eric Goodale continues to lead at Loudon.
Announced in the third stage.
Back here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the field has been given the 1-to-go signal to get back underway here in the Whelen Manufactured in America 100. One of the stories we were documenting was Andy Seiss in the 70 machine. He's the car chief for the NASCAR Cup Series number 16 for A.J. Allmendinger from Hampstead, New Hampshire. Longtime Whelen Modified Tour competitor. He's got a couple of NASCAR championships to his credit as a driver. Yesterday, they had a motor expire in the car. Woody Pitcat practiced the machine because Andy Seiss had obligations in the NASCAR Cup Series in his day job, but Steve Mendoza pulled the engine out of his modified, drove overnight from Rome, New York to get to New Hampshire Motor Speedway here today. They put the engine in this morning, and Andy Seiss from the back has raced toward the front. He's in the 9th position as we get set to go back under the green flag.
Pace car peels off onto pit road, and we're ready to turn him loose with 36 laps complete. Coming to the green flag on the restart. And the green flag is out. Here's Anthony Nocella trying to race him down into turn 1, but the outside row a little stronger.
And that's Eric Goodale, but Nocella drives deep down into turn 1, and he takes the lead off turn 2.
Yeah, he was able to dive down deep enough and have the room to slide up coming out of turn 2 and leads him down the backstretch.
Here comes Goodale, crossing him up, getting into turn number 3. Goodale to the bottom, Nerf bar to Nerf bar for the top spot. Kobe sitting there in 3rd, wheel to wheel off turn 4.
And Anthony Nocella gets a great launch out of 4 and is able to reclaim the lead as they cross the stripe. Here comes Kobe, looking for some running room down on the low side at turn 1.
Right to the bottom of the racetrack goes Doug Kobe. Trying to find room to the outside to slide back up in line, but he's going to give up some ground. Here's Goodale to get through, and Goodale's got to run right to the back bumper of Nocella.
Yeah, and John McKennedy sitting right there in the number 79. He's occupying the space that Doug Kobe would like to slide up into, and right behind McKennedy is Donnie Leah in that number 3. So Kobe mired on the bottom of the racetrack.
Goodale going to take another stab at it down to the bottom of turn 1. Slides up in front of Nocella. Nocella looking low, can't do it, stays in line as they hit turn 2. The battle, though, is on for 4th, now 5th. Kobe backpedaling, Donnie Leah gets around the outside.
Yeah, again, Kobe looking for some space to get back up into that preferred groove and is able to do so as Patrick Emmerling goes around the outside in the 0-7. Meanwhile, the top 5 are nose to tail pretty much here across the stripe. Anthony Nocella hanging right there with Goodale down into turn one.
A good, strong run here early on for Anthony Nocella, just shy of the halfway point of this one in Nocella. And that number 92, the family operation, and a part-time runner on the modified tour, but is always good when we come to this racetrack. How about Leah? Two-time champion of the series. He's inside the top four, and he's looking for more as they work off turn four. Yeah,
Leah, a previous winner here at New Hampshire, but has not even raced here in a while. Looks like he hasn't lost a thing as he hangs right there with McKennedy in that battle for the lead.
Top four in a tight draft. Patrick Emmerling in the 07. Kobe trying to cling to the back bumper of Donnie Leah and stay with the lead pack. To the back straightaway, Eric Goodale leading the way. Now John McKennedy in the 79. Steps out of line and looks to the bottom.
Here's McKennedy going for the bottom, and that space on the outside occupied now by Donnie Leah. He makes the pass and gets into the top three.
Donnie Leah stepped away from modified racing for several years, and he had the opportunity to come back. He was hungry. Tested Old Blue in the fall of last year and put together a part-time schedule. He's won in the Camping World Truck Series. He's got starts in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And he's a two-time Whelen Modified Tour champion, including a victory here at this racetrack. And he's inside the top three now in one of the most famous modifieds, Old Blue, that number 3 car.
He's given it a great run here this evening, and he's chomping for more as he'll take a look down on the bottom of Anthony Nocella, race him down into turn one. He'll go in deep to try and make the pass, and he does.
So Donnie Leah moves up to the second spot. Sets his sights on a fellow Long Island driver in the form of Eric Goodale, who leads the way.
And he's able to reel him right in going into turn 3. Leah sizing him up as he's able to put a little breathing room between himself and Anthony Nocella. Right in the tire tracks of Goodale across the stripe.
There's still a long way to go, but for Eric Goodale, Jason Shepard, the entire Riverhead Building Supply, and GAF Roofing number 58, they are having a banner day here at New Hampshire so far. Leah is putting on the pressure, though. That number 3 car looks a little bit quicker as they get down into turn 3. A little bit further back, Patrick Emmerling making a dive bomb move to the bottom. He's looking for the 4th spot.
Yeah, he's trying to get around John McKennedy, and he does. He'll slide up behind Anthony Nocella and goes to the 4th spot. Meanwhile, those two leaders start to pull away, and this time Leah will test Goodale as he drives down into the bottom deep and slides up in front of him. He'll be the new leader out of turn 2.
So Donnie Leah to the race lead. Patrick Emmerling, who ran the Xfinity Series race here this weekend, looking to the inside, trying to crack the top 3, battling with Anthony Nocella in turn 3.
Yeah, Emmerling with a good run. Here's Andy Seiss appears to be off the pace, and down on the entrance to pit road, down on the inside of the racetrack, and that's a tough break as it looks like he may be out of this.
The top 2 break away, and here's what happened. Andy Seiss on the back straightaway, Corey LaJoie, a little bump draft as they went down into turn number 3. And LaJoie settling in behind as the Seiss car, now off the pace, down on the apron, the road course here at New Hampshire, finally makes that car down to pit road.
Leaders continue to pull away. It's Goodale and Donnie Leah, and behind them, a pretty good battle with Patrick Emmerling. Anthony Nocella, who's been in it through the whole race. Now Tommy Catalano add his name to the list as he's moved up into the top 5.
Good strong run for Catalano. Inside the top 5 in points this season, the red number 54. Putting the bumper to the 92. Came so close to winning the race in Richmond, leading late, but misjudged some lap traffic. And look at the front bumper on that 54 of Catalano. We'll get a tight shot of that. You can see how pushed backwards Catalano has been on it today. That bumper badly beat up. You'll see it here on the back straightaway as they come down the 54. Watch this front bumper and see how sideways it is and flat it is. He's been using all that to get through the field, and he's now moving into 4th.
Yeah, he didn't need it that time, though, as he drove right underneath Anthony Nocella and just slides up in front of him. Boy, he just had enough room to clear him. Nocella comes right back with the bumper on Catalano.
Nocella, though, going to try to rally back to the bottom. He's been very strong at the bottom of turn 1. And he wasn't close enough to make it work because Catalano, that car, he's given it a ride today. He closes into the back bumper of the 07 of Emmerling. Uses what's left of that bumper again. Emmerling a little bit out of shape off the end of the back straightaway.
Here comes John McKennedy mounting a charge once again. He's down on the low side trying to make the pass on Anthony Nocella, but can't make it work. And now He can't slide back up the racetrack because Doug Kobe is there. Here's Catalano with a move on Emmerling, way down below the line into turn one, but he makes the pass.
And Catalano makes it stick. Emmerling, though, expressing his displeasure for that hit that Catalano gave him a lap ago. He gives it right back to him on the back straightaway.
Yeah, definite use of the bumpers here this evening in all of this race, as we've got just halfway through our Whelen Manufactured in America 100 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour.
And Donnie Leah out in front, leading the way. Two cars have been able to break away. That's Leah and Goodale. And then this is a battle from third, fourth, fifth on back. Catalano in the 54. Patrick Emmerling, who was a winner in 2019 at the special all-star race that they ran here for the Modifieds, a 30-lap Friday afternoon shootout. He runs in fourth, and Anthony Nocella running in the fifth spot, and that number 92.
Similar to what we saw in the early going of this race with the two leaders checking out and getting away. They stay with each other. Goodale able to keep Donnie Leah honest as he within a couple of car lengths of him down the backstretch, but you've got to go several car lengths back. A lot of real estate between them and Tommy Catalano, who runs in the third spot. Here are our leaders down across the stripe, one lap car in between, and there's Catalano and that freight train behind him.
And that's what a 2.3 second gap looks like from the race leader Donnie Leah in the number 3. Back to the third place machine, Tommy Catalano in the 54, with Emmerling right there in tow. Nocella, and lurking is Doug Kobe in the 6th position. He fell back after the problem he had on pit road. The car stalled. He was boxed in a little bit by Justin Bonsignor. Maybe didn't give it enough gas as he tried to launch out of the pit to avoid clipping Bonsignor, and that cost him a lot of spots on pit road. Talking about drivers that have recovered nicely, how about the number 22? He had a penalty early on in the race, Kyle Bonsignor, because he dragged the fuel can off of pit road around the racetrack. They had to come back in. He lost a lot of track position. He's rallied back up now to the 8th position. His cousin right behind him, Justin Bonsignor, the 51, goes by to the bottom.
Yeah, Justin Bonsignor, who's been kind of quiet in this middle part of the race. That number 51, as you said, just made the pass and continues on his march to the front.
Corey LaJoie rallying back after the damage earlier. 3 times on pit road. Car still looks strong. He's had to dig his way from the back to the front. This is a battle at the bottom half of the top 10. Bonsignor now running in position. Shown 2 laps down for Justin Bonsignor in the 19th spot. So Kyle Bonsignor holding on to position 8 with Corey LaJoie looking for that spot to the bottom of turn 1.
Yeah, we talked about Bonsignor making the advance, but failed to mention that he is a couple of laps down, even though he's battling with these cars that are towards the front. Same for Corey LaJoie, who's been making those changes. He's getting back into the thick of it, running 9th currently.
So Corey LaJoie continues his march forward. Some 5 seconds behind the race leader Donnie Leah at this point with 43 laps to go. And that car looks pretty good. And we still have another pit stop for tires and adjustments still left. And so you can't count out Corey LaJoie just yet. Back up front in turn number 3. Donnie Leah holding Eric Goodale at bay in the 58. And pretty unusual to see 2 cars stretch it out here at New Hampshire in a track that is so reliant upon drafting like they do in the super speedways of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Well, they've used each other as a way to get away and put some real estate between the 2nd and 3rd place runners. They continue to set that torrid pace. Leah out in front, but Goodale stays right within striking distance.
And they've been racing pretty hard for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. As a matter of fact, Doug Kobe's car has come back to life. He just got by Tommy Catalano in turn 4. Now he's trying to draw alongside Patrick Emmerling while the battle for the race lead intensifies. All of a sudden, Eric Goodale has closed in within 1 car length to Donnie Leah.
Yeah, Goodale has decided to close it up, and maybe the fact that even though they've got the better part of a straightaway over the closest competitor, they want to be able to stay together up front. Here's that battle. Patrick Emmerling with Tommy Catalano, Doug Kobe, and John McKennedy all running together. And again, they are the better part of a straightaway behind the leaders. But again, things can change in a moment here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, these drivers are dicing it up too. Emmerling has had his hands full. He was able to get back by Tommy Catalano. They were going back and forth, bumper to bumper for a while. Now Doug Coby, his car starting to come to life here on the long run of that 7 New York. Gets Catalano a bit out of shape on the back straightaway. Catalano again out of shape on the back straightaway. 3 cars bump drafting into turn number 3. Everybody drives through single file this time. Emmerling in command of that 3rd position.
Yeah, they do not want to pull out a line, particularly to the bottom, to try and make a pass. This time, Emmerling goes down to the low side, tries to pick up a little bit of a draft from the lapped car, the number 26, but he pulls right back up into line and races down the backstretch with plenty of competition in tow.
And at the tail end of this draft, with all this racing from 3rd on back, Corey LaJoie has caught the number 92 of Anthony Nocella in a 7-car draft. So Patrick Emmerling leading the way in the battle for 3rd. You drift back to the back, and there is Corey LaJoie. It didn't take him very long to catch this group, and he's right there on Nocella. Nocella running in 7th in the 92, and LaJoie is on the hunt.
Yeah, look at the challenge, as a matter of fact. Nocella a little squirrely through that turn, and LaJoie right there ready to pounce. Of course, we talked about the 51 of Bonsignor being a couple of laps down. They are in between. Bonsignor is in between McKennedy and Nocella, as he'd like to race up there and get one of his laps back.
Back down into turn number 1. LaJoie still working the back bumper of Anthony Nocella as they exit the 2nd turn. Single file for the moment. Doug Coby got a pretty good run off turn number 2 that time as he and Catalano close back in on Patrick Emmerling. Catalano using that chrome horn again. Meanwhile, smoke flies from the 51 of Bonsignor. Slides up the racetrack and sends John McKennedy with him.
Boy, that was a close call for sure. And that, with everybody checked up, that allowed LaJoie to get around Anthony Nocella and pick up a spot.
So LaJoie now into the 7th spot. Remember, the 51 of Bonsignor, 18th position, 2 laps down. Here's what happened a moment ago, getting down into turn 3. Locking up the tires on the bottom was Bonsignor and just washed up the racetrack, took McKennedy with him. Nocella tried to go to the bottom, but that momentum stalled them. And around the outside was Corey LaJoie. Now Doug Coby going on the attack in the 7 New York. Tried to find a lane to the inside, but lost momentum. He'll settle back in line. Emmerling, Catalano, still nose to tail for 3rd and 4th.
And again, pretty much a straightaway back to get to them, as the Emmerling car with a little bit of breathing room. And now we see McKennedy making the pass back on Bonsignor down on the inside. And LaJoie's going to go to work on the 51 now. They are racing for position. And Bonsignor a couple laps down. There's trouble for McKennedy way up out of the groove, going down into the turn.
McKennedy just a little bit out of his rhythm there. Up out of the outside groove. Had problems obviously with Bonsignor. The dive bomb to the inside lane in turn 3 and 4. Now washes up the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. That allows Nocella to close into the back bumper. And we'll see what happens. There's Kyle Bonsignor in the 22. He's now slid back to the 9th position as LaJoie has moved forward. This is a battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th. McKennedy in 7th. Nocella in the 92. And 8th and 9th for the 22 of Kyle Bonsignor on the back straightaway. Everybody stretching their wings a little bit. A little bit of space between them all. 33 laps to go here in the Whelen Manufactured in America 100 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And the race leader out in front is Donnie Leah. He has been strong over the past 20 or 30 laps. There you see the gap. Leah in the number 3 car. A ride that was shared this year with Ryan Preece, who started the season at the new Smyrna Speedway, ran well. Rookie contender Jake Johnson in this car for a majority of the season. But now Donnie Leah trying to make the most of these runs as he competes here at the front of the field. New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the Magic Mile. But Goodale sticking right with him.
Pretty much clear track in front of those guys too. Racing around Ken Heggie to put him down a lap. But again, clear racetrack for those leaders to just make their way down the front stretch. And Leah in command. Got to go back 3 car lengths to Eric Goodale.
Donnie Leah's had a really storied career in modified racing. He's driven at first his home family team. It was a number 18 car that he ran for many, many years. Got a couple of wins, but really didn't find success until he drove for Bob Garbarino, the Mystic Missile, the yellow number 4 that had toured the Whelen Modified Series for many, many years. Won a couple of championships there, several victories, including a win here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That propelled him into the Camping World Truck Series, where he picked up a win at the Mansfield Raceway Motorsports Park out in Mansfield, Ohio. And Donnie Leah in that number 3 car back on tour, a business owner, his family and car dealerships, huge into RC cars, as an RC raceway, and that's been right in the mix. But one driver who's been in the mix all day long, the story we've been following, that 17 of Corey LaJoie, is now to the back bumper of Tommy Catalano, who had made it all the way up to 3rd, but has fallen back now to 5th. And LaJoie continues to be on the move, but he's 10 seconds behind the race leader, Donnie Leah, trying to find a way around Catalano.
Yeah, he'd like to get into the top 5 for sure. They're right on the back bumper of Justin Bonsignor. And Catalano maybe a little shy about pulling to the inside to make the pass, because that'll open the upper lane for LaJoie, who continues to ride right there behind Catalano.
Tommy Catalano has had great races here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in 6 starts, but he's never really had the finish to show for it. He thought coming into the weekend that he would be good, and he's earned a lot of respect among his fellow competitors coming into this racetrack ahead of the race. Doug Kobe reached out and said, "Hey, are you running New Hampshire? I want to know." And that's a sign that says this driver is gaining respect on big tracks like this. Nearly won at Richmond. He got beat by Justin Bonsignor, the 51, who runs right in front of him, although 2 laps down. And just couldn't quite seal the deal at the end of the race. But another strong run for Tommy Catalano and this team in 5th right now. But if you look back, Corey LaJoie in turn 3 the last time through fell off the pace, and now he's about 5 or 6 car lengths behind Tommy Catalano all of a sudden.
Well, again, we're well into the race, 26 laps to go, and they've yet to do any tire changes on these cars. So obviously the handling is going to become an issue with some of these race cars as we get into the late stages. It's
very rare that a race here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway that these teams will run the same Hoosier tires for all 100 laps. Usually they'll like to come in around midway, but we didn't have that caution here this time. They came down pit road, got their fuel. That was back on lap 22. But from then on, it's been the driver who's been able to conserve their equipment the best. And so far, that has been Donnie Leah, because he is firmly in command and ahead of Eric Goodale. And those two have separated themselves from Doug Kobe, who runs in 3rd, by 8.8 seconds. But Kobe has started to stretch it out a little bit. He's sensing the fact that this race looks a little bit different. And the only way to catch Donnie Leah is to go after him, because Leah, well out in front of the 2nd place machine, right behind the 58. There's Eric Goodale. You have to go way back, though, 8 seconds before you see Doug Kobe.
Well, and we know how many times the story has changed in the late stages of this race. So even though we only have 24 laps to go, anything can happen in those 24 laps.
The race leader is midway down the back straightaway, and Donnie Leah, and Doug Kobe in 3rd is just exiting turn number 2 as Leah gets into turn 3. So a big gap from 1st to 3rd, but Kobe is on the hunt. There you see it, from 1st to 2nd. That's the gap between Donnie Leah and the blue 3 and the 58 of Eric Goodale. As they come across the line, you drift all the way back, and you'll find that black 7 New York car coming across the granite stripe right there. That's Doug Kobe in the 7 New York. So interesting, the story on the line. We talk often about the Drivers' Championship and how important that is for all the competitors in the Whelen Modified Tour in all divisions. But this year, Tommy Baldwin and this 7 New York is leading the championship points on the owner's side of the championship. And even though they've got different drivers behind the wheel, Michael Christopher Jr., Jimmy Blewett, and Doug Kobe, this team is in a fight of their own for a championship. And they think they can do it. That's why Doug Kobe elected to run this race car to continue to help them. It's happened before, only a few years ago. Back in 2017, Eddie Partridge won the championship as the owner, with Ryan Preece and George Brunhosel were the drivers that season. It was the year that Ryan Preece got married. He missed a race. Brunhosel filled in, a former champion of the Southern Whelen Modified Tour. They went on to win the Owners' Championship. Doug Coby, he won the Drivers' Championship. And Doug Coby now trying to do the opposite. Part-time runner at the start of the season, missed a handful of races. And that 7 New York Tommy Baldwin Racing entry is trying to win the Owners' Championship. But right now, the man in command, as the sun shining brightly on a beautiful evening here in New Hampshire, is Donnie Leah out in front. There is Ryan Preece. His 40 car has not been a factor so far today. He's back in the 11th spot. Preece, the defending champion of this event, and it took him 25 tries to win it. And you talk about how crazy things get here on the last lap at New Hampshire. He was third at the white flag and came across and was the first to the checkered flag. Leah paces the way. Old Blue, the Bowler Racing family. This modified has been driven by some of the most famous modified drivers in the history of the series, including Ryan Preece early in his career. Ran this, but Jerry Marquis, trouble. Caution is out, turns 3 and 4, and Tommy Catalano is stopped on the inside lane of the racetrack, and smoke is billowing from that 54 car. Heartbreak once again here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for Catalano and team. Another solid run for them, and just does not have the finish to show for it. And with 18 laps to go, the caution flag is out, and the Whelen Manufactured in America 100, and the plot thickens, everything changes. Catalano down to the inside. This is a grass inside turns 3 and 4. He was inside the top 5. And Donnie Leah looks in the rearview mirror, and that 2-second advantage that he had before the caution flag came out is now shriveled down to just a few inches, maybe a car length at most here as we're under the caution. Still a lot of racing left to go. We'll see the tail end of what happened here. Catalano's car already in the grass at this point. The bottom of turn 3 and 4 as he came off the 7-degree banking, and his car comes to rest in the inside grass. So we'll wait for pit road to open. Keep an eye on the red light, the entrance of pit road. Down on pit road, the teams are standing up on the wall, tires in hand, pit signs are out, and we'll get the opportunity for one final pit stop that could dictate exactly what happens here as the race goes on. Also should document that the 16 car of Ronnie Silk is back out on track 42 laps down. Fourth car in line on the racetrack, the 16 of Silk. Point leader coming in, 42 laps down, running 22nd right now after that incident that had up in turn 1 and 2 with Austin Beers, Dave Zapienza, that brought us under our second caution way back on lap 27. So that team has a lot of fight in them. They were able to get that car repaired and back out onto the racetrack. So trying to get everything they can. Doesn't look like they'll be able to pass anybody except maybe the 70 of Andy Seiss to pick up one more position before the checkered flag flies. So as their safety services team works the apron of the racetrack, putting down some speedy drive for the problem that Tommy Catalano had with the engine expiring, that'll open up pit road, and it'll be busy. This is the money stop. It'll be a short dash to the checkered flag here tonight. New Hampshire Motor Speedway, short track style, wouldn't have it any other way, and it's going to put everything in the hands of the crew chiefs that make the call on the setup changes for a short run, and the individuals that'll go over pit wall to be able to change these tires. These guys are not professional pit crews. This is the hobbyist, your neighbor next door, but this is game time for them. This is where they get to shine, and it's going to happen right now. Down pit road. Everybody up on their game. J.B. Fortin will hit his pit stall first. The race leader, though, the 3. That is Donnie Leah, and they are going to take fuel only on Donnie Leah's race car. He will be down and away, so no tires for the 3. How about the second place machine? Eric Goodale, right side tires for them. These wide lugged modifieds. These pit stops a little bit slower because the lugs are a little wider. Eric Goodale gets away. He's off pit road second. 4-tire stop underway for the 7 New York of Doug Kobe. Patrick Emmerling, his service complete. He's down and away. A quick chassis adjustment for the 7 New York of Kobe. They've got a problem, though, on the left rear. It's a slow stop, and Kobe's going to lose a couple of spots on pit lane. Everybody completing surface, including the 22 car. Kyle Bonsignor inside the top 10 throughout the day. Left front tire going on there. See the 17 still on pit road for Corey LaJoie after that strong run. They're trying to get the left front sorted out on that machine. Also a problem on the right rear for Corey LaJoie, so a strong run for him, and just a problem trying to get that left front tire secured to Michelle Davini's modified. You see the frustration on the crew member. They knew they had a fast race car today. And Corey LaJoie from the 5th position will be the last car to leave pit road. Wow. So things change quickly. Just the 3rd caution of the day so far. And Corey LaJoie will have to rejoin at the tail end of the field. Working the 3rd caution with 15 laps to go from New Hampshire. We're back here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway working the caution, the 3rd of the afternoon, for a problem for Tommy Catalano, who was running inside the top 5, had an engine expire, getting down into turn number 3, and that ended his day, as we now had the opportunity for many of the top runners to come down pit road and get their first stop for tires here late in the going. And when the field comes around this time by, they'll see 13 laps remaining in the Whelen Manufactured in America 100 here this evening. It's the 74th running of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour here at the Magic Mile. It never disappoints, and now as we get towards the end, it's going to be a dramatic finish to see who is going to be able to capture a victory here in a very prestigious race for the Whelen Modified Tour competitors, having the opportunity to perform here in the Northeast, right in the heart of NASCAR country, but also in front of all the NASCAR Cup Series teams, all of the drivers in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and the Cup owners that are here on hand. This is the big one, the crown jewel. Field has been given the 1-to-go signal when they came back across the granite stripe, and they are lined up in rows of 2. Now here's the story. The race leader, Donnie Leah, did not take tires on that round of pit stops. He only came in and got fuel, enough fuel to go to the finish. Everybody else, Eric Goodale, the 07, Patrick Emmerling, the 82, Craig Lutz, they were all on pit road with the opportunity to get tires, and that's how they'll stack up here. And they will see 12 laps to go when they get the green flag from the flag stand and chief starter Bob Slade. The pace car is in on pit road. The race leader, Donnie Leah. Will his tires hold up? Green flag is out, and we're racing again here in New Hampshire. Leah, old tires or not, had a great launch in the outside lane. Half a car length out in front, takes the lead over Eric Goodale off turn 2. Goodale into 2nd. Emmerling holding on to 3rd, and a good run to the outside line by Craig Lutz. Emmerling darts to the bottom at turn 3. Emmerling has had to adjust after running the Xfinity Series race earlier today, a much heavier stock car that drives differently. But that's not the case for Eric Goodale. Into turn number 1. A bold and aggressive move for Goodale as he dives to the bottom and takes over the top spot. Goodale out in front, a car length ahead. Bump drafting behind. Contact. Emmerling into the back of Leah. Now looks to the bottom of turn 3. Wheel to wheel. Nerf bar to nerf bar through the turn. Emmerling noses ahead in the 07 and takes 2nd. Leah loses ground. Craig Lutz and John McKennedy able to sneak by to the bottom. That also hurt Doug Kobe off turn 4. Nearly 3 wide, getting down into turn 1 as Bonsignor sailed it deep in the 22. Up front, though, it's Eric Goodale, and he's got a mirror full of Patrick Emmerling in the 07. Emmerling always in the running here at the end. has not won a points-paying race here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but again, was the winner of the Whelen All-Star Shootout a couple of years ago and knows how to run in the draft, trying to see if he can seal the deal here from the second spot. 9 to go this time by, and Eric Goodale out in front. You see the leaders there. Look at the gap back to McKennedy. It was 1 second when they came across the line this time by, and only inches. You could put a piece of paper between Goodale and Emmerling at the front. Eric Goodale pacing the way across the granite stripe. Riverhead, New York driver. Patrick Emmerling, he's from the Buffalo, New York area in Orchard Park. Travels some of the furthest from any of the other modified competitors in the series, and he's been doing that for years. Jan Leedy, atop the pit box, an experienced driver in his own right. Calls the shots for Patrick Emmerling, and he put a great setup under him once again here this year in New Hampshire. Emmerling, though, not willing to show his hand yet. Stays right in line with Eric Goodale behind them. Some cars starting to move to the front is a 22. Meanwhile, Donnie Leah out of shape in turn number 2. Slides it sideways, now points it the other direction, and just grazes the outside wall in turn 2. Caution flag is out. 4th of the afternoon, and Donnie Leah, who once led this race going away, brings out the 4th caution. Heartbreak for Donnie Lee. He's got the car rolling once again down the back straightaway. We'll get another look at it. We'll see exactly what happened. First of all, when Donnie Leah lost the battle for the top spot after the restart, you see a little bit of contact between he and Patrick Emmerling. Meanwhile, there's what put him back in traffic. That was contact as Doug Kobe was right behind the right front tire, climbed up on him. And here is contact now between the 22 of Kyle Bonsignor. That sent Donnie Leah up the racetrack, and Donnie Leah goes around, nearly had it saved before backing it into the outside safer barrier. So Leah grabs a gear. He'll rejoin back in the 13th spot as there was 13 cars on the lead lap when the caution flag came out. And there'll be 5 to go when they come back to the line this time by, but the frustration for Old Blue and that team so close with a strong race car here today, but in the late going, it'll come unraveled for that team, and they will not be in a good position when we get back under the green flag. You never say never here at this racetrack because we have seen some wild finishes in the NASCAR Modified Tour. A couple of cars electing to come down pit road. Eddie McCarthy is among them. Ken Hagee, Doug Kobe on pit road, likely to work on the damage on the right front of that machine, along with Donnie Leah and Gary McDonald all on pit road. So the pressure is on for Eric Goodale at the front. We documented it earlier in the day. Eric Goodale having a banner season for him. 3rd in points. Has never won at this racetrack, and this is one of those racetracks where if Eric Goodale can get out unscathed, he was a happy man. Right now he's trying to get the win. On pit road, Donnie Leah, he'll take those tires now, although with just a handful of laps to go, I'm not so sure how advantageous those Hoosier tires will be. Same thing for Doug Kobe, the Tommy Baldwin Racing Team. This is going to hurt their championship ownership pursuit. Right front being worked on the Mayhew Tools number 7 New York for Doug Kobe, and he exits pit road, and as does Donnie Leah. So the field will get the 1 to go signal when they come back to the line this time by. The lights are out atop the pace car. And we're ready to settle the issue here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. When they come back around next time by, they'll see lap 97. There'll be 3 laps to go here in the Whelen Modified Tour. Whelen, manufactured in America, 100. This is what you all came to see, and they're going to put it out in the line. These race cars, you've got to be aggressive. You got to be up on the wheel, elbows out. Hard on the brakes getting into the turn and quickly back to the gas. That's how you drive these. And they're going to have to be all over it. Everybody wants this, and they want it badly. The entire racing world in the short track community eyes this race. They've got the NASCAR stars in the infield. And they are the local grassroots, local track, short track stars that are about ready to rock and roll. Pace car is in. 3 laps to go when they get the green. The 58, Eric Goodale. The 07 is Patrick Emmerling, and we're back underway. An even start as a dive off into turn number 1. Emmerling's got a wheel to the bottom. He'll walk up the racetrack. Patrick Emmerling to the race lead off turn 2. Goodale back to second. Now the battle's on for third. Emmerling off the pace, protects the bottom, but here comes a freight train up top. Goodale bypasses. He gets by to the outside lane. Now here comes Kyle Bonsignore trying to find a wheel to the high side. 2 to go this time by. Goodale out in front. Emmerling holds off Kyle Bonsignore for second. They're side by side for fourth. Anthony Nocella is there in fourth, snaking their way down the back straightaway. Goodale trying to protect the inside lane. Emmerling into the back of him in turn 3. Meanwhile, here comes the 79, McKennedy, diving down to the bottom in turn 4. White flag this time by. Eric Goodale in command as they head for turn 1. You've got to make the move off turn number 2. That's where it happens. Can Emmerling get the job done? Back straightaway they go. Emmerling is there, looks to the bottom. Down to turn number 3. Emmerling inside lane. Takes over the top spot. Here comes Kyle Bonsignore. Goodale trying to cross him up. They come down to the line. Emmerling out of shape, and across the line it's going to be Anthony Nocella. In the number 92, Anthony Nocella gets his first career Whelen Modified Tour victory. He was fourth when they came across the white flag, and Anthony Nocella from Woburn, Massachusetts, and the family operation pulls the upset win. As a part-time runner, he has won the Whelen Manufactured in America 100 tonight at New Hampshire. What a finish. What a turn of events. Nocella was in the mix all day long. He was at the right time, right place, darted down to the bottom, nearly into the inside wall as they came across the line in a photo finish with Kyle Bonsignore to the outside, who finished second tonight. But it's Anthony Nocella who gets the job done as the 2 race leaders. The 58 of Eric Goodale, his car sits paused on the inside of the racetrack along the safer barrier, and Patrick Emmerling, who went across the start-finish line sideways, and we'll get another look at exactly what happened in a wild finish. Anthony Nocella, the race winner in the 92. Here it is as they came off turn number 4. Emmerling to the checkers. Throws the block on the 58. His car darts across the line. There you see Nocella to the right. Went across the line to take the checkers first. And Kyle Bonsignore had damage, but he snuck through to take the runner-up spot. Unbelievable finish here tonight in Loudon. There's the block from Emmerling. Comes across the racetrack. Nocella darts to the left, takes the checkered flag, and he gets the win. Somehow, some way, the 22 of Kyle Bonsignore was able to sneak through to the outside, even though he got collected by the 58 of Eric Goodale, bounced off the wall, kept his foot in the throttle, and got it done. There's Eric Goodale. Out of his race car, unofficially came across the line in fourth. Wait for the final scoring. But the man of the hour is the 92. Patrick Emmerling was in the hunt, thought he was going to win it, but out of the fourth spot, as they came off turn number 4, Anthony Nocella, his first career NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour win, and it comes on the big stage here in Loudon. Absolutely sensational. We knew when it came down to that 3-lap race for the finish, a shootout there at the end, that it was going to be exciting. Last year, the race winner did so from the 3rd position. This year, the race winner from the 4th position. And what this means for the entire Nocella team. Their paving company that backs their racing operation, Nocella, has been trying to win one of these Whelen Modified Tour races for many years. Ran full-time on the series with the family team, ran for Danny Watts in that 82 car for a period of time, decided to bring the family car back out for competition this year. Went to Richmond, didn't even have the opportunity to make the race because they had motor problems. And now, Anthony Nocella, just a few miles from home in Woburn, Massachusetts, he gets the win in the 92 MA here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And he's getting ready to get out of the race car, so race fans, when he does, how about a big round of applause for all those Massachusetts race fans? How about it? Anthony Nocella, a first-time winner in the Whelen Modified Tour. He wins the crown jewel event here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. His entire crew, the family, everybody involved. J.J. Vies involved as well. He's down there giving a big round of applause, cheering on that team because they got the job done here today. You can't even say that he stole it. He earned it. He was up front all day long, was right place, right time, and Anthony Nocella has etched his name into the history books in modified racing history, and he does it in dramatic style. What a finish. We'll get another look at it here as they came up off turn number 4. Emmerling took the lead off turn 2. Eric Goodale did everything he could to try to bypass him as they came off the turn. We'll see what happens. As Nocella to the bottom, Emmerling in the 07 came across the granite stripe sideways, looking at you, the race fan, as he came across the line. And Eric Goodale just came up a little bit short. But for them, at least they came home 3rd and 4th. Still had a good day, but not what they had hoped to be, standing right there in Ambetter Victory Lane here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway with Anthony Nocella, the winner. Finally gets the job done, gets the monkey off his back, and has the opportunity to celebrate here with his team here tonight. He's won a lot of big races, but this one here will go down as the biggest for Anthony Nocella in his career as a modified driver in the family team. Kyle Bonsignor managed to finish 2nd. Patrick Emmerling was 3rd. 4th for Eric Goodale. John McKennedy had a strong day and a strong race car all day. He came home 5th tonight. Unofficially, Ryan Preece was 6th. 7th was Doug Kobe. Donnie Leah rallied back with those new tires at the end to finish 8th. Corey LaJoy came home 9th, and 10th was Craig Lutz. The rookie contender of Austin Beers, he was also in that incident at the end of the 64 car, rallied back to 11th. And Justin Bonsignor, remember we told you he was 2 laps down? They used strategy to be able to work their way back up through the field, get those 2 laps back. He came home 12th, and that'll help him in the championship chase, especially with the championship leader Ronnie Silk and his problems today. Bobby Santos was 13th. 14th for Eddie McCarthy. 15th for Ken Hagee. We'll continue to run down the lineup. J.B. Fortin came home 16th tonight. Walt Sutcliffe was 17th. 18th for Gary McDonald. Tyler Ripkema was 19th. 20th for Tommy Catalano. Ronnie Silk finished 21st, 42 laps down with that damaged race car. 22nd was Andy Seiss, the 01 Melissa Fifield. 36th of Dave Zappienza, 24th. And the final finisher tonight, 25th, was Kyle Ebersol. Let's go down to Victory Lane and hear from our winner.
Down here in Victory Lane with a very tired but very happy Anthony Nocella. It's a big one for you. It's the first one for you, and it's special here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, definitely. I've kind of ran on the tour on and off over the years, and just kind of we've been close to getting some wins and worked hard, but haven't got one. So pretty awesome to get one, let alone here of all places, and especially my family-owned car. It kind of makes it the best.
Awesome, for sure. And you were in the thick of it all day long, but tell us about what you saw coming out of turn 4 at the finish.
Yeah, kind of had a good car all weekend, had a good car to start, and led a couple laps, and kind of got a little too loose and faded back, and this motor didn't really like getting bogged down, but that pit stop, I knew would have a shot with that, short laps with this motor, and the guys gave me a good car, and we got in the right lane, and just I knew if we could stay top 3 or 4 with a shot right there on the backstretch, I knew we'd have a shot, and I expected them to drive it in hard like that and kind of wash up, and that's what happened, and going for the win, and we were able to get the right lane.
Yeah, for sure. And you saw the mess in front of you and said, you just got to keep your foot in it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I was either going to wreck or make it there, so I wasn't lifting.
And what's this mean to the whole Nocella family and crew?
Yeah, that's a big one for sure. We've been working hard for it, and just awesome to finally get it, and especially of all places here.
Well, congratulations to you, Anthony Nocella. We have a beautiful trophy presentation from Whelen. He gets the beer shower down here, as we all do, and including our reps from Whelen. We'll call them in to make the presentation.
On behalf of everybody at Whelen Engineering, proudly manufactured in America for 70 years, congratulations on a great race.
Made in
Thank you. Appreciate you guys and everything you do for the series.
Congratulations again, Anthony.
Thank you.
Anthony Nocella is in victory lane. Let's hear it for him, the winner of the Whelen Made in America 100 here at New Hampshire. Joe?
Well, thank you, Pete. An outstanding race for Anthony Nocella. Took advantage of that wreck on the final lap as they came across the checkered flag, and he is victorious. A first-time winner in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour is Anthony Nocella. So Anthony Nocella walks away with the victory. That'll do it from here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Thanks for joining us on Flow Racing. We look forward to catching you at the next stop on the tour. That'll come up on July 29th, a Friday afternoon at the Claremont Motorsports Park right here in New Hampshire. Good night, everybody.